My clients requested chicken for lunch tomorrow, so I was able to get a head start on breaking down the chicken and seasoning them. I separated the wings and broke down the chicken into halves before separating the legs and thighs from the breasts. Once you understand the anatomy of the chicken, there are so many ways you can break them down. I also removed the bones from the thighs and scored the legs so that they cook quickly. Seasoned them simply with salt and let those dry brine overnight. In the morning, I've got an hour and a half to serve lunch, so I rinse and scrub these sweet potatoes and get them into the oven to roast. For our veg, we got some beautiful heirloom carrots that I peeled, cut into obliques, throw into a container with some water, honey, salt, thyme, wrap it up and into the oven to slowly cook and soften. Next veg is broccoli, which I just break down, toss with olive oil, a bit of salt, and into the oven to roast. Third veg is this gorgeous cauliflower from the farmer's market that I also break down into smaller florets, toss with olive oil, salt, and into the oven as well. I like to rinse my capers when I'm going to use it for a sauce because they can be a bit too salty sometimes. I chop them up and I set them aside. I've got about 30 minutes left, so I start searing the chicken to get the skin nice and crispy. And while the skin on those guys are rendering, the carrots are 90% cooked, so I drain the excess water, toss with a bit more honey, and get them into the oven to glaze. I remove the chicken from the pan onto a sheet pan and into the oven to slowly finish cooking. To make the sauce, I sweat down chopped onions in the chicken fat and to pick up all of that fond. Once they get some color, I grate 2 of these garlic cloves into that onion and chicken fat pan, toast that garlic, deglaze with white wine, and reduce. When I cook with anything alcoholic, I like to waft the steam into my face like this and see if I can still smell the alcohol. Once it's reduced down pretty far, I add in some chicken stock. It is store-bought since I've used up all the one I made recently. I go through it pretty quick. A quick hack if you're using store-bought chicken stock for a sauce is throw in some sheets of gelatin to give it some body. Most grocery store stock doesn't have much collagen, but this will give it a nicer mouthfeel. Once reduced, I add in the chopped capers, reduce a bit more until thickened, mount with cold knobs of butter to give that sauce a nice shine and richness. It's essentially a piccata sauce, but I changed it up this time with some chiffonade basil alongside the parsley. And finally, add a healthy amount of fresh lemon juice to brighten it up. Always remember, no more cooking once the herbs and citrus is added. When I know I'm going to have to taste something a lot, I like to use 2 spoons, so I don't have to use 10 different spoons to taste, using the main spoon to pour onto my tasting spoon. The sauce is done, the sweet potatoes are perfect, the veg is cooked, and so is the chicken, all timed perfectly. And to plate, we got half a sweet potato, our basil piccata sauce, honey glazed carrots, charred broccoli, roasted cauliflower, and our crispy skin chicken. It's a pretty busy small plate, and I wouldn't have necessarily plated it like this in a restaurant, but my clients like non-fussy plating, and it's delicious.